So, what's your why, right? And you hear that and it's like, well, what do you mean, Mike? What do you mean? What is my why? Okay. On this channel, we talk a lot about the hows, but the why just might be more important. Okay. We're going to break that down in today's training. Hey everyone, it's Mike Adams, and on this channel we empower individuals to achieve freedom through improved financial literacy and business ownership. If you are new to the channel, make sure to click subscribe and click the bell so that way you get notified on any and all of our future training. So in today's video, and I got something a little different for you guys today, but we're going to be discussing what's your why, okay? And why your why might be more important than the how, okay? And so what the heck am I talking about? Okay, and normally we're talking about strategy, we're talking about this, we're talking about that. And a lot of times we're spending, the time that we're training on our videos, we're talking about the how. We're laying out a strategy, and we're talking about how you should do it, how it should be done, here's the steps to take, all that good stuff, right? And the unfortunate truth about, just people and about life is that most people out there, okay, simply put, do not take action, okay? And that is said with all the love in the world, because the bottom line is that's just the way it is. Most people just don't take action. They have goals, they have things that they want to achieve in life. And, perhaps that's why you're even on this channel. You're wanting to learn ways, to pay down your debt, or wanting to learn ways to improve your credit, all that good stuff that we have plenty of training on here on the channel. But most people don't take action on the things that they learn. And it's definitely, just an unfortunate truth of our society right now. We think a lot of times because we want something that it's just going to kind of happen. But the bottom line is it's not going to happen on its own. If you want your student loan paid off, it's not going to happen just because you want, that student loan paid off. It's only going to happen if you take direct action towards accomplishing that goal, okay? So the how and how to do those things, of course that's important, but why you want to do it is even more important, okay? So my question for you is, what's your why? Okay, if you're here on this channel because you want to achieve financial freedom, you want to get out of debt, well, why do you want to do that? You're here because you want to start a business, you want to start building wealth and start putting income systems in place or passive income systems in place. Why do you want to do it? Okay, because you can learn about the how-to all day long. You can jump from YouTube channel to YouTube channel, video to video to learn all kinds of how to do all kinds of stuff. Okay, that's what YouTube is all about, okay? But why do you want to do it? And I'll tell you what, if your why isn't strong enough, you won't take action, okay? It doesn't matter what the goal is, okay? It doesn't matter how many videos you've watched. If your why isn't strong enough, if it doesn't drive you, okay, you won't take action to accomplish that goal. So an example, okay? One example, and using myself personally, when I was back in corporate America, and this is a good, about 7 years ago now, I was one of those guys working 70, 80 hours every single week, working in that corporate grinder. I was actually at the same company for over 15 years, working my way up in that same company. And I was one of their highest paid employees, one of their top managers, all that good stuff, right? But I was a salaried employee, so I worked a lot of hours and wasn't necessarily compensated for that. And I was frustrated, right? For many years, I was very, very frustrated, with that. It was kind of close to around, when the market had crashed, so there was pay freezes going on. So it was like, as far as like getting a raise, that was kind of out of the question for many, many years. And there was a lot of frustration there. And maybe some of you guys can relate to that at your job right now. You got some frustration going on. But for me, even though I was frustrated, and I would always think to myself, oh, I just want to quit this job, right? Or I just want to, go into the boss's office and demand that raise. And many times, in the bottom line, the truth is that I didn't do it. I didn't take action on it. There were so many times I thought about creating a business, right? Or getting into something, just starting something up because I was so sick and tired of what I was dealing with at my job. But guess what? I didn't take any action. Or if I did take action, it was just very, very little to where, okay, you know, in my mind it's like, okay, I'm doing something, but the bottom line is I wasn't taking massive action towards making that business really get cooking to where I'd have any shot of getting out of my job. There wasn't enough action. You know, for me, it wasn't until my kids were born. Okay, and you know, many of you guys have heard my story in other videos. My wife and I have a set of twins, and we struggled. You know, we struggled for years to conceive those twins. We went through multiple miscarriages. You know, the whole works to conceive. You know, almost lost my wife a couple of times. You know, during pregnancies that just went south. You know, and so it was a major struggle for us. And when my wife became pregnant. Okay, and I remember seeing, you know, on that on the monitor, seeing the two little flickering heartbeats there. And those of you guys that are parents, you know what I'm talking about. When you see that little flicker, they're like, "That's a heartbeat," and you see that for the first time. It's like, oh my God, that changed the game for me. Okay, all of a sudden now, you know, I was thinking about how frustrated I was at my job. It's like, you know what, I need to do something about this. And we went through the pregnancy. I was still at my job. And so now the kids are here, right? They're born, and I had to go back to work, you know, and we had literally gone through hell and high water, you know, to have these kids. And I wanted to be there, right? I wanted to be there with my kids. I wanted to be a part of raising them. I didn't want to miss out on everything that we worked so hard to get to. You know, we went through so much to get to that point. I didn't want to miss all the good stuff of actually having an opportunity to raise my kids. And so it was about 2 months into them being born that we launched our first, you know, I call it our first, right? Because it was the first business that I took serious, massive action on because I had a new reason why, right? And my why, in a nutshell, is I wanted to be able to schedule my work around my kids instead of my kids around my work, okay? That's what it was for me. And that became my driver. That became the thing that said, you know what, Mike, okay, you've taken action on, you know, you've tried MLMs, you've tried all kinds of different little things over the years, but you never took crazy massive action to make it happen, right? This time, right, if you're really serious about being able to control your schedule and be at home and being able to raise your twins, okay, you're gonna have to do this. And that became my big motivational factor. That became my why. And so every day I would work my 10, 12 hours at my job, and then I would come home tired, help with the kids when I got home for a few hours. And then guess what? I would put in a few more hours every single night towards my business, towards generating leads and building up my business. So that way I could eventually make enough money from that business to get out of my job. And I gotta tell you guys, it was a grind, and just like any financial goal you're trying to achieve, you're trying to get out of debt, or you're trying to build a business, guys, it is not gonna come easy, okay? And it's not gonna come cheap or easy. It's gonna take a lot of hustle, it's gonna take a lot of grind, and you're gonna have to burn that candle at both ends. The bottom line is to make something happen, like building a business system that's gonna get you out of your job. And for me, it was a 6-figure income that I needed to replace. That's not gonna come easy, right? It's gonna take some serious hustle, it's gonna take some serious grind, and you need to be willing to pay that price. And the bottom line is, you already know that. You know it's hard. Starting a business, it's not easy. But that's why your why needs to be so important, okay? You need to want it so bad. And the bottom line is, if you don't have a strong why, if it's like, well, I just kind of don't like my job, and so I want to build a business, I just don't like it, or man, they should be paying me an extra 4% more, and I'm just kind of upset about that. So that's not going to drive you. That's not going to get that fire burning hot enough to make you want to go put in an extra 2 to 3 hours a night after you've already put in 10, 12 hours in your normal workday. Right? For me, once my kids were born, we had our why, and it took me 7 months of literally grinding my tail off every single night. Finally, get the kids down again, then get the kids down again, and then finally now it's sometimes midnight, 1 in the morning, but I'm up, I'm online, generating leads and working my business, and I just kept doing it and doing it. Yes, was I sacrificing time? Yes, I was sacrificing time, and I just looked at areas that I could cut that time. I sacrificed, sitting around and watching TV. I gave up on DVR. Like back in the day, I just remember we had so many shows on our DVR that we were watching. I gave all of it up. And I put all of that time into fighting for my why, which was being able to schedule my work around my kids instead of my kids around my work. And within 7 months of doing that, I was actually earning enough from our business that I was in a really good position because unfortunately, and I guess fortunately and unfortunately for me, that's when the corporate guillotine from the sky came falling down and I actually got laid off from my job. Okay, so after 15 years of being there, I received a severance, okay? And luckily enough, okay, with the action that was taken, our business generated, we generated almost $30,000 in revenue that month. And the bottom line is that was almost double, more than double what I received in my severance, okay, after 15 years of being at that company. And so I just think, yes, I'm so happy that we created that business system, but thank goodness I took the massive action that I took, because if I didn't, okay, and that business system wasn't generating that kind of revenue and I just got laid off, we would have been in a pretty bad spot, right? But fortunately, everything worked out the way it was supposed to. And the reason that it did is because I had a very, very, very strong why. Okay, so I want you guys to think about that. Okay, there's plenty of how-tos about building wealth or about getting out of debt. Okay, but what's your why? Why do you want to get out of debt? Okay, why do you want to build wealth? Who could you help? Think about all the people in your life that you could actually provide more value to and benefit by simply not having debt or by becoming wealthy yourself. How many people could you bless? How many people could you actually, lend an additional helping hand to? I'm not saying give handouts to them, but be able to be in position to, lend a hand up, okay, when you're not buried in debt, dealing with bills, or struggling, financially, okay? What is your why? Okay, I've shared with you guys tonight, my why. What's yours? Okay? And I encourage you, once you determine what your why is, and again, you might have to go a little bit deeper with your why. For me, again, just the want to make more money, that's not enough. I just want to make more money. That's not a why, okay? Dig a couple layers below that. Okay, so if you're like, well, Mike, I want to start a business or I want passive income systems because I don't like my job. Well, why don't you like your job? Well, and then there's something underneath that, right? Well, because my boss is a jerk and, I'm just kind of sick and tired of dealing with that. Okay, well, why are you sick and tired of dealing with that? Well, because I believe that I'm better than that. I want to be able to prove to myself and to my wife, to my partner, to my parents, that I can actually build something and create value for other people. Okay, now we're starting to get to a core why, okay? So just, again, ask yourself that question, guys. What's your why? Okay, because the stronger your why is, okay, the more likely you are to hit your financial goals when you have that strong why. So hopefully you guys found value in this training and in this message. If you did, make sure to give it a like, give it a comment below, and I will see you in the next video.